upstate New York afternoon on a Tuesday to hear about the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, one of our student organizations. So thank you for joining us today. Just a kind of overview of how it'll go. Our students will talk. They'll take questions throughout and at the end of their presentation. If you have any questions, please submit them in the chat feature on your screen, and we will go ahead and send those through, and they'll be able to answer them. It is a moderated chat, so if you submit a question and it's not processed right away, don't worry, it will get there. So at this point, I will pass it off to our students.
All right, hello everyone. We are from the IEEE Rensselaer Student Chapter, or the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer Chapter. I'm going to wait a few minutes just in case anyone else happens to join. Before we get started, we'll introduce ourselves real quick. My name is Reagan Wilcox, and I am the current Vice President of the Student Chapter. And this is Ivan Hamill.
I'm the current treasurer of the Student Chapter.
So we'll wait a few minutes, but hello everyone.
Yeah, feel free to write down our emails and phone numbers. If you have any questions that we don't get to during this meeting or any questions that you think of afterwards, feel free to contact us. It's great to see people interested in IEEE.
Yeah, feel free to send questions at any time during the presentation, but we'll probably answer them close to the end. All right, in a few minutes, we'll get started. All right. So just in case anyone new has joined, I'll introduce myself one more time. My name is Reagan Wilcox, and I'm the current Vice President of the Student Chapter. We'll do a small presentation here. Both of us, Ivan and I, are rising juniors at Rensselaer, so we can help you with any questions you may have. So first,
Yeah, even if it's not about the club, about classes or professors.
yeah, all sorts of the information you'd like to know when you start at Rensselaer. So first is a small presentation for any new ECSE students. We mainly want to just give advice and information for anyone that's new to campus, and that's mostly our purpose here. So in the agenda today, we are starting with what is IEEE, and we'll just have a small video for you to learn about the student chapters of IEEE. And then we'll be going over IEEE membership, and then the benefits of IEEE, the local events in the area of Schenectady, and then how to be involved, as well as advice for oncoming students. If you'd like to email us at any time after the presentation, we provided our emails, and we also have our phone number here in case you'd like to do that instead. So first, we'll talk about what is IEEE. So IEEE itself is the largest professional association for electronic and electrical engineering. I'm sure you might have heard of them before. They publish research and share research with each other and their members. They hold meetings and conventions with local chapters. We have a local chapter, professional chapter in Schenectady and near Troy, and we'll be keeping up communication with them. They also hold a lot of events, such as one event that they held recently was a design and fly workshop. There's a lot of networking available, and it's a really big resource for professionals during their career. because there's a lot of networking available with not only people you know, but from other companies as well as other careers. So what does that mean for you guys? The IEEE student branch, and so we'll show you a small video here about what IEEE student branches do.
The mission of IEEE students is to deliver a common, high-quality IEEE student membership experience globally for lifelong professional membership through IEEE.
IEEE is a family. The friends you build through volunteering stay there. You really make friends for life.
Getting involved at your local student branch, your local section, and your larger region is one of the many benefits that IEEE students have. You can also apply for a variety of awards, both as an individual and as an IEEE student member of your local branch. You can also get involved in a variety of contests and competitions, including our #1 student competition, IEEE Extreme, a 24-hour global coding competition with over 8,000 students involved annually. IEEE Potentials is a premier student magazine. It provides you with the opportunity to get published and to review your peers' work as well. With over 400,000 members in the IEEE Global Network, you can get connected, find a mentor, and also collaborate with professionals in your field.
If you want to do something to impact your community through IEEE, it gives you the resources.
You can make the most of your IEEE membership by completing your profile. It allows us to contact you and keep you up to date with what's happening at the global IEEE offices. Take advantage of being an IEEE student member by collaborating on projects within your local student branch and your section with professional members. By collaborating on projects, you have the opportunity to get featured on IEEE TV. We'll see you there.
EPICS and IEEE empower students and local communities around the world to apply engineering to solve those challenges.
The IEEE Event Finder allows you to locate conferences, meetings, events, and activities in your area and worldwide. You can get involved in a variety of special interest groups as well. Women in Engineering, Standards, and IEEE Young Professionals.
YP represent!
Of course, that's when you graduate. Remember, IEEE prides itself on being your professional home. Be sure to take advantage of everything the IEEE has to offer.
The more you put in, the more you get out.
We share the same fears, we share the same hopes, we share the same visions, and this is the best place we can exchange our experience, and at the same time we can get support from our experienced colleagues at the same time. It's perfect.
Hey, Ivan. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, Reagan. Sorry, I
just
had my
wanted-
mic muted.
It looks like you.
Um,
There you go.
so IEEE, the membership is discounted as a student. I believe it was $22 when I joined last year. It gives you access to a lot of research papers and technologies and different magazines on their website. It also gives you access to a lot of different IEEE communities like Young Professionals, Computing Societies, Standards. There's significant quantities of communities. It's almost daunting. We, at the moment, don't charge a fee for the club because you have to pay a fee to be a national member. So, and then this allows you a lot of different benefits, as Reagan mentioned, a lot of networking, a lot of different events. It's a great plus to your resume and to your career. If you ask, almost all of the ECSC professors are a part of IEEE, and I suspect if some of you come from families with ECSC professionals, they will also know or be a part of IEEE. At the moment, I have gotten research through it. I know Reagan has gotten research through it. It really makes it a lot easier to talk to people on LinkedIn or in person because you have something common to start off with. In addition, we also offer several benefits like the resume books because companies interested in hiring ECSE-centered undergrads will come to us and say, who do you have that you know is a good worker? We are, one of their first resources that they can start to take a look at, and we hold info sessions with companies sometimes. Additionally, IEEE holds quite a variety of events. So these are some of the ones that I got emails of that I got offered the opportunity to go to. All of these, there are also Schenectady section membership meetings are approximately monthly, and they are usually conferences on topics such as autonomous vehicles or AI, and they're very close and very interesting. So it's just a great space to get to know people and get to listen to great speakers on some of these topics that are what you hope to achieve in your profession. So there's a lot of different clubs that are closely related to IEEE that you can join and then be part of. It allows you to join students with similar groups of interest and develop your technical skills and network with people who can, especially your seniors and juniors and sophomores, who can give you tips on what classes, how to do time management, how to do career fair resumes. Not only professionals, but upperclassmen are a great resource, and these are some of the best ways to connect with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of great clubs on campus. Rensselaer IEEE Student Chapter is just one of them. There's one of them that I've been a the Rensselaer Electric Vehicle, which is a great resource with a lot of upperclassmen that are working to make an electric car for competition. They do go to California once a year as well, and it's a very interesting project. And then there's the Embedded Hardware Club, which helps students learn how to use embedded hardware systems such as Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is what I have on the side. And they help teach students.
Soldering, PCB design, they go do workshops. It really depends how far you want to get into embedded hardware, and they'll help you along.
And then I have here undergraduate research, mostly because it might seem very difficult to get into, but once you really start networking with your professors, a lot of them are very open to helping undergraduates. I know Ivan and I have both been a part of it, and I know other people in not only IEEE, but within ECSE itself who have gotten into research.
A lot of professors even prefer that their undergraduate researchers approach them as early as possible because it means that they can start training them in the methods and the softwares that they use before. So even if you approach them as a freshman, if you choose the right professor who you have an interest in their research and they have available space, even if they don't have available space, they will often tell you to essentially shadow their lab and give you access so you can start learning how it works. So at the next semester, you can apply and join their lab, and that way you have a head start and they don't have to train you to use their softwares or untrain you from using different softwares if you've already been accustomed to a different system. So really get involved as early as possible. Most of the professors are super friendly.
Yes, and then I put in here, also look into other clubs, not just ECSE related, because you'll be doing a lot of work here at Rensselaer, and not everything is work. I've been a part of other clubs that are not just work, and to stay mentally healthy, I suggest looking into other clubs as well. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a single whole. You can have interest outside of ECSE, and it's a great way to form close friendships and release stress. So, I mean, don't restrict yourself.
Okay, so the next slide, we'll be looking at APO and back exams. This is just a little bit of advice as an ECSE student on campus. This is especially valuable to people who are just getting on campus with the first classes you'll be getting into. So APO is a fraternity on campus, which sounds funny, but they're actually in charge of the lost and founds within the Union top floor. And they have the largest archive that I've found on campus, and I believe there is, of back exams, homework, and quizzes for almost every class on campus, especially the freshman ones you guys will be taking. And I found it was an incredible resource when I first got on campus because when you're coming from high school, you don't know exactly how these college tests will be, and you have tons of examples of how to study for the tests oncoming by looking into the test bank. They're extremely good resource, and I really suggest that when you get on campus, you should find them on the top floor of the student union if you have any classes, and ask to look into their archive for that class, because you can take pictures of all the tests and homework that are there for help and any problem help, and it's a use source that more people should really be using. I did link a website, but all you have to do is look up RPI APO, and it will come up with a link back test catalog, which means you can look up any class at RPI and they'll tell you exactly what back work they have for you. I really suggest looking into this because it helped me a lot when I first got on campus. And so
I recommend you use it early and often because it gets pretty hectic close to finals and midterms. So, I mean, take advantage of it while it's there. Don't just remember it when everything's piling on top.
Oh yes, I suggest going as soon as you know about the next exam coming up, because it does get very busy there. All right, so now I have a short little segment about advice. Well, the first advice I have is make study groups in your ECFE classes. I didn't do this as early as I should have, but I found that once you get to know a good amount of people that you know work very well, working with them and helping each other is a huge resource. It's sort of, you all get to mentor each other and make advice on how you handle problems, and it's very, very important, especially when you get to the harder classes. And then back exams, like I just said, are very valuable, especially for your first and second year. And then the library is an amazing place, and it is very busy. There are a lot of study rooms, however, it is almost always filled. So keep in mind you can reserve a room, and you can use their markers. They have whiteboards. You can use their markers and their erasers, those. And you're going to need to show up early to get a spot, so keep that in mind. It's absolutely great. You should check out the library when you're on campus. There's tons of resources there as well. In the first floor or the bottom floor of the library, there are also tutoring services. So look into that as well. It is very helpful for people that are struggling when they first get on campus. And then, like Ivan and I mentioned, many of your professors have very interesting research. And most of the professors you'll be meeting when you get on campus are very, very kind and great to talk to. Don't be afraid to ask about it. Most of the professors I know, especially the professors I met on freshman year, were very, very open to just talking about what it's like to be on campus. And then, huge thing I advise, you probably heard this a lot, but time management is very important, especially if you want to be involved on clubs. I remember when I first got on campus, I got involved in a lot of clubs as soon as I got on campus. You got to be careful and manage your time, because you have to work on not only your clubs, but you also have to work on your work as well. So keep that in mind. Do you have any things you'd like to mention, Ivan?
If any of you have questions about our research, I mean, feel free to ask. There's a lot of different variety. In fact, most professors have 2 or 3 different research projects going on at once. The library is great, but it really just depends on where you like to study. I know a lot of people like to sit in the union. So it depends if you like having people around you or if you prefer getting distracted. And as somebody who's also done poorly with time management, getting to college, there's so many clubs, so many different things to do. You might sign up for a lot of them. So it might be easier to pace yourself and start seeing how your schedule is the first week or 2 before you start attending every club, just so you don't get swamped.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's very easy to get swamped, especially when you first get on campus. It's an adjustment. But the clubs have been worth it so far. Clubs are really important to just meet people on campus. Most of my friends I've met through clubs, simply because you're just meeting people with similar interests to you. And it's a huge resource. Okay. So now we're open to any and all questions. Anything you'd like to ask, please submit through the feature. Andrew C.
Yeah, about our experiences at the university or at IEEE, you know, how you can get involved in the club, about our research. Feel free to ask, even if you just want to know about what's the best food at the dining hall, or at least the most
Feel free
consistent.
to ask about any classes too.